When Zarathustra was 30 years old, he left his home and the lake of his home, and went into the mountains.
This is how the book opens. A book very different from any book that Nietzsche has written before. But actually, we feel like we have read this already. The first part of the prologue, the part that we are discussing in this video, already appears in full in The Gay Science, Nietzsche's previous work. It is the aphorism that closes the book. But there is one slight difference between the two versions. In the Gay Science version, we are told that Zarathustra left the lake of Urmia, and here it is simply the lake of his home. The lake of Urmia is in Iran, formerly known as Persia, and it's where the original Zarathustra lived, sometime in the 2nd millennium BC. So in the Gay Science version, Nietzsche was thinking about the historical Zarathustra. Here, probably to emphasize that this Zarathustra is merely a literary figure, his own creation, he removes this association to the historical figure. But the name Zarathustra does carry a significance, which does tie the character to the original Zarathustra. We will later discuss why Nietzsche chose this name for his hero.
There he enjoyed his spirit and solitude, and for 10 years did not weary of it. But at last his heart changed, and rising one morning with the rosy dawn, he went before the sun, and spake thus unto it.
Nietzsche's first book, The Birth of Tragedy from the Spirit of Music, was published in 1872. He started work on Thus Spake Zarathustra in 1882, 10 years later. So there is something autobiographical here. Nietzsche was pretty much writing in solitude until now, as very few people read his philosophical musings, but here he was setting to write a book that would be more appealing to the general public. He tells us that Zarathustra was living in solitude for 10 years, up in his cave in the mountains, developing his ideas, but now he was ready to do something new. He turns to the sun and says,
Thou great star, what would be thy happiness if thou hadst not those for whom thou shinest? For 10 years hast thou climbed hither unto my cave. Thou wouldst have wearied of thy light and of the journey, had it not been for me, mine eagle and my serpent. But we awaited thee every morning, took from thee thine overflow, and blessed thee for it. Lo, I am weary of my wisdom. Like the bee that hath gathered too much honey, I need hands outstretched to take it. I would fain bestow and distribute, until the wise have once more become joyous in their folly, and the poor happy in their riches.
Solitude, it turns out, isn't an ideal state. Although Zarathustra hints that he does have companions, namely an eagle and a serpent, it's not enough. He feels the need to share his wisdom with others, make them as happy as he is. As we shall see later, this feeling is central to Nietzsche's ethics.
Therefore must I descend into the deep, as thou doest in the evening, when thou goest behind the sea, and givest light also to the netherworld, thou exuberant star. Like thee must I go down, as men say, to whom I shall descend. Bless me then, thou tranquil eye, that canst behold even the greatest happiness without envy. Bless the cup that is about to overflow, that the water may flow golden out of it, and carry everywhere the reflection of thy bliss. Lo, this cup is again going to empty itself, and Zarathustra is again going to be a man. Thus began Zarathustra's down-going.
Zarathustra was living in the mountains, high above human society. This is of course metaphorical as well. It hints that he was living on a higher spiritual level, and was thus happier than the humans of his time. In order to share his happiness, he must descend to their level, go back down to human civilization and mingle with people. This theme of going down, as we shall see, is also integral to Nietzsche's ethics. Thus ends the exposition, in which we are already introduced to some themes that will be developed later. Let's now join Zarathustra on his way down.